Welcome to Jessfor30. Hard to believe this is our 11th podcast. I'm excited to have a great guy and well-known, respected in our hometown of Brighton, Michigan. Welcome, Clint Copenhaver.
Thanks for having me, Ron.
Yeah, this will be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Especially with the Michigan game coming up and everything right around the corner. But you've lived here your whole life, a town that we both love. Mm-hmm. And what's your thoughts on Brighton?
Moved here in 1980. Was born in Cleveland, Ohio. And my dad worked for General Motors, got a job here in Detroit. And my parents are from a small town in Ohio called Georgetown, Ohio, little farm town. So, we moved when he got his job in Detroit. My parents came here to scout out a place to live, and they started driving west of Detroit and found the first small town they could find, and they stumbled on Brighton. So
nice stumble.
yeah, nice stumble. So, so have been here since 1980 and have loved every minute of it.
1980. How old were you?
I would have been 4 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. I was born in 1976, like I said, in Cleveland, Ohio. So, and been here ever since.
We know Cleveland. I know Cleveland better than I know Detroit. I'm in sales, and I went down there as just to cover Northeast Ohio and a little piece of Ohio, and we lived in North Olmsted, and then we built a beautiful home in Medina.
Yeah.
With the town square.
Yep.
And we loved our time there.
It's Cleveland emulates a lot of Detroit. Just tough nosed, hard nosed people. Mm-hmm. Working class people, and it was a great place to. I actually went back. I lived there for about a year after college with my college roommate. I loved my time. Well, I don't remember much from my first 4 years there, but going back after college, it was a fun place.
It is. It's Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Detroit. There's real similarities. I was an adult when I went down there and worked and enjoyed it and made a lot of friends. And they didn't like us running the Michigan flag out in the neighborhood. I found my garbage upside down one day.
Oh, yeah.
But I believe your mom taught at Spencer Elementary for school for quite a long time, 40 years, and is she still there?
She's still there. Yeah, my mom has been. She's been teaching, I think, since right around 83, 84. When we moved here, she stayed at home with the kids. Like I said, my dad worked for General Motors, so she wanted to stay home with the kids until we got into school. Mm-hmm. And then she got a teaching position at Spencer Elementary, 3rd grade, and she's been a teacher there for, like I said, right around 40 years. I think for time put in, seniority for Brighton, for teachers, I think she's number 2 right now.
Really?
So yeah, she's still teaching.
A few more years in her.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. She claims this is either this year or next year is going to be her last year, but she's been saying that for about 10 years.
So I had the pleasure of meeting your mom. What a great lady.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's full of energy. She has more energy than I do. She has the same amount of energy as my kids, and just an educator at heart. I mean, she's just an absolute rock star, and it's in her blood. She enjoys it, and I've always said, I feel like she's gonna teach until they kick her out of there. Not that they'd ever kick her out of there, but if it was up to her, I think she would probably teach, forever. But she's an amazing lady.
She seemed like it. Now, what about, is your dad around? Is he alive?
Nope. He passed away, probably 15, 16 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, my mom still lives in the same house that they bought in 1980. So the great thing about that is that I've got family in the area that, we're all close to my mom. My brother, he currently lives in Florida, but my sister and her family live here in Brighton. So myself and my wife live in Brighton, so we can be there to be with her and all the things, and she can see all the grandkids and see their sports and activities and things. So it's awesome for her.
Yeah, I met her. We were in the Brighton High School press box with you. I walked up to say hi to you, and she was wanting to check out the press box and
Yeah.
making sure you were doing the job.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess,
she's always checking on me, taking care of me. Yeah.
You have a brother who's a veterinarian?
I do. Yeah, my brother graduated, so he went to Michigan State vet school, went to a year of dental school at the University of Michigan. Wasn't for him, but he ended up graduating from Michigan State vet school. He was a vet in Tennessee owned his own practice for many years. Ultimately sold his practice, and now he's retired. Lives in Vero Beach, Florida, and lives.
Oh,
a good
that's
life.
nice.
Yeah, has a place
We go to Hutchison Island down there once in a while. That's nice.
Oh yeah, Vero Beach is beautiful. He just bought a place in Puerto Vallarta. So him and his wife. He doesn't have any kids, so they just travel. They boat. They used to have motorcycles, but now they just boat. They fish. They travel. All the things that you do when you're retired.
He's got some guts. Puerto Vallarta, man, it was on the list a few years ago that cruise ships wouldn't even go in there.
Yeah.
So, the only reason I know, Michelle and I have been to Mexico 10 times. Cancun, Puerto Vallarta. We even went where they did the cliff diving, the Elvis movie. I forget that town, but
He enjoys it. Like I said, they travel a lot, and they so far they enjoy it down there.
And your sister, what does she do?
My sister's a teacher. She's been a teacher in Ypsilanti for, maybe 20 years. She's been an elementary teacher there, which she absolutely enjoys. She loves. There's a lot of underprivileged kids in Ypsilanti, and she just absolutely enjoys teaching, helping, educating, all the things with with that community. And she's super passionate about it. But yeah, she's been a teacher for 20 some years.
Michelle got a real education. She was an assistant principal at Central Academy on Industrial Boulevard right there in Ann Arbor. And it's it's 95% Muslim.
Okay.
And it was not only an education for her, but I think it was maybe more for them because Michelle's tough.
Yeah.
And Michelle believes in history, and her dad was a colonel in the Army. My dad was hit by a destroyer. I brought this for you, actually. It's a story of my dad got hit by a kamikaze.
Oh, boy.
In World War II.
Wow.
But she taught them a little bit about the American flag and the pride and what we're all about, you know.
Right.
She had the guys came in, the parents would come in through the years. She was there 10 years, and she wasn't getting the respect. Well, she got it.
Yeah.
And the principal actually was a great guy, Dr. Louis Shelby. Someone would come and give my wife a hard time, and she'd say, go talk to Dr. Shelby. They'd go and sit down with him, and all of a sudden come out with a new attitude about Mrs. Jess.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Jess.
Don't mess with Miss Jess. I like that.
You'll die like all the rest. That's an old grade school thing. Sorry. I can't help myself.
I love it.
So your mom, you told me she's into tradition like we are.
Yeah.
We're big into traditions.
Yeah.
And, what are some of those?
Some of those, mainly the family get-togethers, holiday get-togethers. She has her traditions. She loves to go to Frankenmuth. She loves a lot of family gatherings. She enjoys being with the kids, being with us. It's few and far between now where my brother gets up and, we can all be together. But, she just, I always tell my kids, if she had a choice of, winning $1 million or spending time with us, she'd choose spending time with us. I mean, that's just how she is.
Yes.
She's a passionate woman. Grew up on a farm and like I said, in Georgetown, Ohio. So she just a hard-working farm girl that's still kicking butt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I could tell how much you guys loved and you when she was up there in that press box.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a minute. The only reason I can really say Irish Catholic family. My grandma Madden from Ireland lived with us. 8 kids and mom and dad. And So on the tradition side, I brought you a gift for the Christmas tree. Do you get a real tree?
Get a real tree, my friend, still up.
That's the way to do it. Ours is too.
Yeah.
So this is a tradition we started this year with the 5 grandkids, and so what you do is you take that pickle and you hide it somewhere on the tree.
Yep.
And then we have the kids, all 5 grandkids, outside the room, and someone hits a timer and they come in. They can't touch the tree.
Yep.
They go around and they look at it. So all 5 grandkids came in. One's only 1, so he wasn't doing much. But who do you think won?
Probably the youngest.
Austin won.
Austin, oh yeah.
Austin won in 16 seconds, and the closest was a minute and a half. 16 seconds. You know why? Because it was for some money.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, a little motivation will make them work hard.
Yeah, that was about it.
That's fun.
It is. So you could do that with your family if you want.
Still have the tree up, so we can try it before we take the tree down.
Well, they said we came over. I believe I read up on it, and you know, it caught on over. It came in like the king and queen of London, or England, I should say.
Yeah.
But someone brought that tradition to them, and so they did it.
Yeah.
You know, so we do it now. We just added it.
Yeah.
So you've experienced football success. You know, most athletes, you know, they can only dream about, Clint. I mean, because you know we've been Michigan football fans since my dad would take us to the Franklin Cider Mill, 14 and Telegraph.
Yep.
And open up the station wagon. We'd have the cider and donuts and the Jess family all running around listening to Bob Ufer and Michigan football. So I'm telling you, a lifelong. I mean, we the old bleed maize and blue.
Right.
We do that.
Yeah.
So when you did that, you know, you from Brighton youth football to Brighton high school, and they're always good. Brighton football's great. To the University of Michigan as a linebacker, and what a ride, eh? Into the big house.
Oh yeah. You know, I was lucky. You know, I have a passion for in the community here in Brighton. I had a great experience growing up here, and you know, I was lucky to grow up in Brighton, and you know, we had great coaches. You know, I was lucky enough to play for Bill Murray for 4 years. Had a great staff, and you know, I was lucky enough that I was given the opportunity, and people helped me where I ultimately, you know, got to the University of Michigan, graduated high school in '94, ended up at Michigan, played at Michigan from '95 to '99. And, you know, I couldn't have done it without the people that gave me the opportunity here in Brighton and helped me and coached me and guided me, learned a lot of life lessons here in Brighton. And then ultimately, you know, ended up at Michigan and had a great experience at Michigan. But again, it all started here. You know, we had a great youth program, as we still do in Brighton.
Finnerty, you got to put, I don't know if he was there when you were there.
No, he was younger than me. A little younger than me.
Yeah. The dad, though, ran it for years. Tim Finnerty, my hat is always off to Tim. And I always bring up, he had the varsity team, and they came from Dearborn, Divine Child, where there was, you know, that was quite a school, Divine Child. I mean, Hutchison came from there. I mean, recently, but even way before him. And, I thought the Finnertys were really good people, and they... And the people that came after them or through them, and that Tim Finnerty, and such a tragedy with Cullen. You know that.
I mean, that's a name that's you know is renowned here in Brighton, or the Finnertys. You know, unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to meet Cullen, but certainly heard the stories. You know, the family, the tradition, all the things that they did for Brighton. But tragic story. And gosh, you know, I mean, probably one of the most successful college careers of any quarterback. I mean, what did he win? Two or three?
Three national championships at Grand Valley.
You know, had an amazing career here at Brighton. But like I said, you know, we were lucky to be part of this community, part of this, you know, the athletic program at Brighton, because again, they, you know, gave us all the resources that we needed to excel, to do well. And, you know, so it's been, mean, that's why we're back here in Brighton.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, it's just my kids enjoy it here. You know, the education, the athletics, the community, the town, everything is just second to none. You know, everybody that comes here that's never been here fall in love with the city of Brighton.
Yeah.
There's just it's so many endearing qualities that it has that's keeps people here.
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is we're lucky to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We feel the same way. Yeah, so from that, do you still have the helmet and the jersey? You bring the number 43 jersey home with you to keep and all that? Clint have that
Oh, yeah.
somewhere? Yeah.
Yeah, still have the jersey, still have the helmet. Funny story. I misplaced my jersey. I had my Rose Bowl jersey that I misplaced for years, and it had been tucked away in storage at my mom's house, and I thought I might lost my my jersey forever. But yeah,
It was the Jersey Gate.
yeah, right.
and Clint, you had guys on your team, not only like Charles Woodson, and you got to line up in the same defense with him as linebacker where he's playing corner or safety, and then he goes to offense. But you also had Tom Brady on that team
Yeah.
as a backup quarterback. The jersey, his jersey was stolen from some nut who came in. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's a movie about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with a lot of great players. Charles Woodson, obviously Hall of Famer. Tom Brady, Hall of Famer. Steve Hutchinson, offensive lineman, Hall of Famer. I mean, Ty Law, my freshman year, I played with Ty Law. Ty Law is in the Hall of Fame. So,
Is he?
Yeah. So we had, we had an amazing group of guys that we played with, and and then ultimately to win a national championship at Michigan was an amazing experience, and at the time. Going through that journey, difficult. Put in a lot of hard work. You walk through those doors at Schembechler Hall, and the expectation is so high. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations, all the things, both athletically,
Academically too. I mean, how do you balance that? It's
Right.
unbelievable.
Taking 15, 17 credit hours in a semester, balancing football, balancing social life, balancing all the things was difficult. I think what a lot of people don't understand is what they see is about 2% on Saturdays. The rest of the 98% of us putting in the work off season, putting in the work during the week, grinding at study table. It's a lot of work. But at the time, didn't necessarily have time to reflect and enjoy every minute of it. But now looking back, you're able to realize how lucky we were. Like I said, started at Brighton, ended up at Michigan, how lucky we were to be given that opportunity, that platform to succeed. And then ultimately, like I said, winning a national championship, playing with some Hall of Famers, and not only playing with Hall of Famers, but playing with a lot of really, really good people. I always say the most successful people that I know are people that I played football with in Michigan. I mean, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs. I mean, Super Bowl champions. But I'm not just football, but I'm talking in the professional world. Guys that are just, like I said, doctors, lawyers.
Work ethic, right?
Work ethic, absolutely. Attitude. That mentality of just grinding. A lot of people think that you go to a place like Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and things are given to you. They're not given to you. You have to go out and earn it.
Sure.
You got to go find a way to grind and earn your keep. And that certainly translates over into my life now, and all the guys that I played with. It translates into their professional careers. So it was a good experience.
We had a guy on a few weeks ago, Eric Walters is his name, and he's from Howell, and he's a great kid. He's a little bit younger than you. He's 40, I'm going to say 41, 42.
Yeah.
He was Livingston County Athlete of the Year. He was basketball, baseball, and cross country.
Yeah.
But he's blossomed. He's vice president, owner of this plastics company.
Okay.
Huge, and you wouldn't know it. He's this by gosh guy.
Yeah.
And I had an interview, and it was so funny. But again, like me, I called him the other day and I said, Eric, we're going to have some fun with you. And I said, what do you really think, as far as what would you ask Clint? And he's like, well, that winning that national championship, that was the cherry on the top of the cake for all that work and all that effort. And yeah, I watched the game the other night. It was replayed, and it was. You guys had your hands full, and
yeah, the great thing about, I think, the trajectory of how that all happened was that my first couple of years at Michigan, we were 8-4.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that. Yeah,
we struggled. I mean, by Michigan standards, we struggled back then. 8-4 wasn't acceptable. It was very average. So to ultimately, my fourth year, so my redshirt senior year, for us to go undefeated and win the national championship, like I said, the trajectory that we took was that much more rewarding, because we went through the years where people doubted us. We went through the years where, we had a lot of people thinking we needed a coaching change, that we needed different players, all the things.
And you love Lloyd Carr. You talked to me
Carr,
about
absolutely.
that before.
Yeah, I was recruited by Gary Moeller. Absolutely loved Gary Moeller.
Yeah, tough guy.
Tough guy.
Just
an
know.
old school tough guy.
He was a member at Lakeland out here when I would join the country club in Brighton. He was there, and I've run into him in CVS. And
And
is he still alive?
No, he passed away just recently. Within the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But he gave me the opportunity, and then my last 4 years at Michigan was with Lloyd Carr, who was absolutely cut from the fabric of Bo Schembechler and Gary Moeller. Just the way he coached, the way he motivated. Just his presence, his demeanor was just amazing.
The same.
Absolutely. The way he would walk in a room and carry a room and motivate, and he could find a way to push your buttons and to motivate you.
Yeah.
Because that's the interesting thing about coaching is, I think not every kid needs to be coached the same way. Every kid needs to be coached differently, and they were masterful at that. So yeah, my final 4 years were with Coach Carr, and what an amazing individual, amazing human being. Yeah, he was great to play for.
He brought in for the Washington game, if I got it right, a guy who had climbed Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And there was a book and a movie, and he talked with you guys.
He did, yeah. I'm going to get the name wrong. Lucas Siski. He brought him in to talk about the struggles and the challenges of climbing Mount Everest. Talking about, it was before the 97 season. It was before the season that we won the national championship. And he talked about how difficult it is to climb Mount Everest, and the higher you get on that mountaintop, the more difficult it is.
Yeah.
And that's when people quit, when they turn around, they can't make it. And the best of the best make it to the peak of Mount Everest. And we used that analogy for our 97 season. And it was, we sat down before the season in 97, and, we talked about as every team, you make goals before a season. You talked about the things you want to do. You come up with phrases. You come up with things that are going to motivate your season. And I remember we all were sitting in the full team meeting room with Coach Carr and the team. And, everybody's throwing around all these different phrases. And like I said, we had just gone through 3 8-4 season. And finally somebody says, you know what, why don't we just win? And that was our mantra for the 97 season, is just win.
I like it. That's great.
Absolutely.
And you did.
And we did.
You never lost that year.
Never lost, yeah. And, they just wrote a book about that 97 team. And it was, again, climbing the mountaintop. Yeah. Yeah. And, but yeah, that was a cool experience. And you talk about a guy, Lucas Siski, I think his name was, as he came in and talked to us. What an amazing experience.
Where was he from?
That I don't know. I don't remember where he was from.
I saw him. I don't remember either. I watched it the other night, and it was just part of it. And they showed the picture of Mount Everest and just the story. But your team. I look at it too. The one thing you guys had on that team, just studying the history and spending time with you, you guys were good guys.
Yeah.
I think Tom Brady's just a really nice, good guy. He's a shark.
Yeah.
I think Charles Woodson's a really nice guy. He's my son's favorite defensive player in history with Green Bay and all the Hall of Fame and all he's done. But you guys were good guys. Brian Greasy was a nice... I can tell his dad's a cool guy, Hall of Famer. I mean, who does that? And he announced that game, you know, crying.
I can tell you that, you know, we had no... at any football team, soccer team, organization, you're going to have some sort of disagreements, infighting, things of that nature, turmoil here and there. We never had arguments. We never had disagreements. You know, you know, what a amazing group of high character guys, great people, guys that we're still very, very close with. And like you said, Tom Brady, amazing player, but a great guy.
Yeah.
Just a very humble, but, you know, very motivated guy. Charles Woodson, just a funny, you know, just a funny, but, you know, also too.
Gets out there with the flag now. He's like there.
Right.
That's perfect.
You know, the great thing about Charles is he was, you know, he didn't need to talk. You know, I think that he was the type of guy that when he stepped on the field at all times, he was the best player. And you know, you watched everything he did. He was so smooth. He was so good. You know, and some people from the outside may look and like, well, is he lazy? No, he's so good. He makes everything look so easy. I mean, he was an amazing guy, hard worker, just everything he did. But going back to your initial statement, I mean, the amount of great guys that I played with on that team, great people, great human beings. Is just we just didn't have any bad apples, and you know, I mean, every team generally does, like I said, but I mean, we just didn't have any bad apples. Just a bunch of really good dudes.
Yeah, that makes it great.
Yeah.
I mean, even later on, you know, that they'd be humble, I'm sure, and that they seem like people you'd like to hang out with. You know?
And those are same things that, you know, I try to teach my kids is be confident but be humble. You know, I feel like today's game and any sports now is loud, obnoxious, all the things, and it's like I really try to teach my son and my daughter. It's, you know, walk quietly, but you know, carry a big stick.
Yeah.
You know, but
that's what our country needs to do a little bit, right?
But be humble, work hard, all the things. So and that's, like I said, going back to Michigan, that's what we had. We had a bunch of dudes that were confident, but you know, but also humble.
Well, you had Anthony Thomas, and I didn't realize it till I went and looked at the stats yesterday that Chris Howard had more. I believe he had more rushing yards, and then you had Glenn Steele on the defensive line. But I looked at what you had. Your position linebacker was tough. You had Dhani Jones, Sam Sword, Ian Gold.
Yep.
Were all three of those? Did they all go pro?
Yeah.
I mean,
we had
tough competition.
All the linebackers. Outside linebacker, you had myself, Rob Sweat. Dhani Jones played a little outside linebacker. Middle linebacker, you had Sam Sword. You had Ian Gold. Again, you know, the great thing about that is we had a lot of talent at the linebacker spot, and we had a lot of guys that were okay with other guys getting playing time.
Yeah.
You know, if Sam was in there, you know, we had Dhani rooting for him. You know, if Ian Gold was in there, Dhani was rooting for him. If Dhani was in there, I was rooting for him. I mean, it was just a bunch of guys that just didn't care about. I mean, we certainly cared about playing time, but we just, like I said, just win.
Wanted to win.
Yeah, just win. So a good quality. You know, and back then, you know, when I was in the early '90s, when I came out of high school, back then linebackers were all, you know, 6'2", 250 pounds. We kind of slowly saw the evolution at Michigan where the faster, the smaller linebackers started to, you know, started to change the game. The Dhani Joneses of the world and the Ian Golds of the world, you know, which back then you kind of look at them as undersized guys, but guys that could just fly.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to catch your tailbacks.
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, myself and Sam Sword and Rob Sweat, we were kind of the bigger run stoppers, and then you had Dahani and Ian that could just fly. So nowadays you look at linebackers. Linebackers are 6'2", 225 and run 4.4s.
I know,
Back
crazy.
when I was there, it was linebackers were 6'3", 250 and were run stoppers. So the evolution of the game has certainly changed.
For most 112,000 plus fans, they just would want to know, Clint, what's it like? I mean, the band playing and the crowd's going nuts. You run out of that tunnel and you jump up and hit that banner.
Yep.
I mean, that moment before the game, when you're finally ready to go,
Yeah.
that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, those are the things that I certainly look back on, and I'm thankful for, to be able to experience that as a player. But yeah, the game day experience at Michigan was amazing. Just with, like you said, the band, the fans, the stadium, all the things, which is fun now because I get to experience it as a fan. But it was a fun experience, and even as equally as fun was playing at opposing stadiums. I mean, how much fun was it to go into Columbus or East Lansing or Happy Valley?
I was
play
just
in front of those because we were
there.
What I enjoyed is going in and kind of taking over a stadium. Going in, we love the hate. We love the Ohio State fans, giving us the finger, throwing snowballs at us, all the things. I mean, we enjoyed that. We enjoyed going in and taking over a stadium. So I enjoyed playing, at other stadiums just as much as I enjoyed playing at Michigan Stadium.
Well, it's amazing the money involved today. They're putting $700 million. We stayed with some friends of my brother Danny's out there at Happy Valley a couple weeks ago when Michigan beat them. And how weird was that to be there? Harbaugh gets off the plane and he's canceled.
Yeah.
And we're going, what's going on? I mean, it was really weird. But Happy Valley, if you want to go up, I don't know if you've been in stadiums like this, but we were on the third deck in the end zone.
Yeah.
And we walk up, up the cement here, up the cement here, up the cement here. We thought we were going on a pyramid, and it's not Michigan Stadium where you go in the middle and you always have it's pretty cool.
It's like a big erector set.
It is. But they're, like I said, they're putting $700 million into it and redoing it. But it was fun being there. Yeah. The atmosphere is still so cool.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was, back then they didn't have the whiteout games, the night whiteout games, but still playing there in the afternoon was amazing. Just crazy, rabid fans. But again, we enjoyed playing at some of those opposing stadiums.
I'm sure. So, Clint, your wife, she played soccer at Michigan.
Yeah.
Mari. Yeah, I've met her a few times. Nice. And
yeah, she's awesome. She's a year younger than me. Played soccer. She played soccer at University of Michigan. She went to Plymouth Salem, and so her parents ultimately ended up back in Brighton, which is moved to Brighton. So we've got the whole crew here. But yeah, I always say, my kids get their athletic ability from their mom, not me.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, my wife was an amazing athlete.
I've heard, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Just
as you were. I mean, you got the dual
she was
genes,
just an absolute stud. Soccer, one of the top soccer players in the country.
Was she?
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, played at Michigan, had a great career at Michigan, and yeah.
I hear your daughter Riley is quite the volleyball player, and obviously Jake, I've seen him play football. He's good. He's a good player.
Yeah. My daughter, she's a sophomore. Last year she played on the varsity lacrosse team, so they won the state championship. So she got to experience that as a freshman. Now she plays volleyball, so she's doing really well in volleyball. And she enjoys volleyball and lacrosse. And my son Jake, plays football with the grandson. And
with my grandson Austin.
He plays basketball. He plays football, basketball, and lacrosse. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I get more joy out of watching my kids play sports than I ever did playing myself.
Yeah, so that's what everybody says.
Yeah,
Yeah. And now wait till you're a grandparent where you have you can just go watch a game and then you go home.
Yeah,
build a fire, or you do what you want to do.
Yeah, they'll be wheeling me around in a wheelchair by then.
Probably
watching the grandkids.
My daughter Christy wanted me to say, the transition from high school to such an elite college as Michigan, preparation academically and athletically. I mean, that's got to be. It's got to be a lot. A big, when you walk onto those streets in Ann Arbor and go to school, that's pretty special.
It's a big, it's certainly it's a big step, and it was a big transition. But as I said, at the beginning of our conversation, Brighton prepared me for that. I had a good group of people that helped me prepare for that. But it was certainly academically, it was difficult. It was a challenge. But found a way to navigate it, and made me a better person. All the things. So that first year as a freshman, you're swimming in information. You're swimming in trying to figure out, where do I go, what do I do, all the things.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's got to be incredible.
Yeah.
Well, now they've got the portal and all the changes. Like we said, the Big Ten's going to soon be the Big 20, and. But a guy from Dearborn Divine Child, the University of Michigan, to the Detroit Lions. What do you think of Aiden Hutchison?
Yeah, what a story.
Yeah.
I mean, how special is it that you have a local kid that can that gets drafted by the Lions, a guy that grew up as a Lions fan. His dad played at Michigan. His dad graduated just before I did. His dad was actually an undersized defensive lineman that just was an absolute stud, All-American. But for Aiden to blossom into the player he was in college, then to get drafted by the team that you grew up rooting for, that was underachieving for so many years, and for him to be part of the change is very special. And now I think they're getting to the point now where they're going to build a defense around him, and he's just he's fun to watch. But he comes from a great family, so he says all the right things. He does the right things. He's a blue collar kid that just has an amazing talent.
Yeah. Well, I got one more thing to do here. Have you heard about this part of the program?
Nope.
Okay. Those are the Jess pickles.
Yep.
And everybody tries them, and you have to rate them, Clint.
Yeah. So. What's the scale I'm using?
Just 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Yeah, and you can go 2.4 or 9.9, whatever you feel.
Are these dill?
They're garlic dill.
Garlic dill.
Yes, sir. I hope you like them.
So you grow these, can them?
Well, we get them at Easter. These I got from Brighton Market, Farmers Market, and we just know how to do it. We've been doing them 15, 20 years.
You trying one too?
Yes. I'll grab one.
I'm giving it it's amazing. 9.6.
Okay. 9.6.
9.6.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, those are amazing.
Great to spend time with you.
That was fun.